you're all very busy with what's going on in the company. But that doesn't mean we haven't got plenty of time for questions, so fire away, because you can find all this out through the online help with this or whatever, but it's far quicker just to ask me and I'll take you through it. Don't think it's a daft question, I will have been asked it before, so ask whatever you want, okay? So I'll literally start this from scratch, presume no knowledge level, and I'll just take you through what it can do, okay? So we'll just crack on, and I'll talk to you about the screens and what we can do. So effectively what you've got here is an 86-inch touchscreen. It's got 20 points of touch, which means that two of you can work on it at the same time, so you can both write and draw at the same time. All the stuff you would expect to see on one of these things does the same on here, so if you want to make it smaller, if you want to rotate it, if you want to pinch it and do all of that, it does all exactly the same thing. We've tried to design it to be very intuitive and just like using your phone or your tablet, so we've kept it really, really simple. There's a couple of different ways you can use the screen. You can use it in this mode, which is what we call tablet mode, so it's like a big iPad, or you can use it in PC mode. So built into this, he says check in, let me put one in. It's the other side, isn't it, on this model? Yeah. So you can see the cables, the aerial sticking out as a PC. So effectively what most of the businesses that I deal with, because we've got these in places like Jaguar Land Rover and Rolls Royce and all these places, they'll generally use the PC side most because they work on a PC all day at work. So you could effectively get your IT team to set this up so you could log in as you, and your desktop now just becomes this big. Yeah? So that way you know where all your files are, your H drive, everything, and bring it all up to the screen. But this side of it really is designed for quick ad hoc work, and also when people like me come to see you and they want to use the screen. Because IT won't want them on your network for obvious reasons. And if they bring horrible things like this in, which IT cringe at, because of the risk of virus, they can use this in the tablet mode, because the tablet's a separate box that slots in the side, so there's no risk with viruses and getting to your network, because generally this would sit maybe on guest Wi-Fi, for example, is what most of my clients set it up for. So you've kind of got this thing to play with that's free and easy, everybody can use it, and then this is built in that's locked down, connected to your network with all your security, antivirus and everything on it. Okay?
So sorry, with ISO, they state we can't have anyone bring anything in. So the only place that will be acceptable, it will be there. So we're getting our ISO accreditation check in the next week. So if it says anything about USBs, the only place is in here, which is in the secretariat.
Yeah, and like I say, because this is strictly speaking a visitor area. It's a walk up and use device. It's like leaving this out on the table connected to your Wi-Fi and say, there you go guys, if you want to use that, feel free. And that's what this is. Okay. So you can see we've tried to simplify it as much as possible. This is why the hotels are now getting interested in these. And we've got them in St Pancras, we've got them in the Hyatt Churchill, we've got them in Hanbury Manor, we've got them in Bankside Hilton, just putting them in the Doubletree in Bristol, so the numbers of hotels are increasing quite rapidly, hence why we're working with you at the show in June as well. And the reason for that is this. So you've hired the room for today for your business meeting, and even as little as 12-18 months ago, a screen like this I would need to spend an hour with you before you used it to show you how to use it. That's no good for a hotel. They just want to wheel it in and switch it on and go, there's your screen, and off they go. So we've put the front end like this to keep it as simple as possible. So if they want to know the status of the screen, it'll tell them the date, the time, it'll tell them it's connected to the Wi-Fi. This clever share button that's over here that I'll talk to you about in a bit is enabled and things like that. So it's just what the screen is doing, sort of IT-wise. You can also lock the screen as well. So if IT wanted to do this, you could make it so that when you come in and see the screen, when you touch it, it'll immediately ask you for a 4-pin code before you can do anything, if you want to do that. So the hotel could do that, so people can't start say you leave it in reception, people can't just walk up and start using it, so you can do that. Connect is the connections of the screen. So what can I connect to? So if I press PC, it'll now swap from the tablet to the computer that's built in. Simple as that. And these are your other, the Lux is this tablet front end. So that's what Lux is. And HDMI 1, 2, VGA and AV are inputs that are all located behind the screen on the side, this side here on this model, down there. So if you want to go what I call old school, you can get your laptop out and you can plug a HDMI cable in the side, and the USB is very important you do the USB, because without it you don't get touch. Okay? So you just plug those two cables in and you've now got an 86-inch laptop.
Sorry, what USB would you talk
Like your printer cable. Just a normal USB cable.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. It is literally a printer cable because it's square on one end that goes in the screen and flat on the other that goes in your laptop. So those two cables. So if you get a visitor come in, they can literally plug two cables in the side of there with no installation of any software, drivers or anything, because our screen is part of Windows driver set, and it'll just bing bong, and then probably 5 to 6 seconds later they can just walk up to the screen and run their laptop at that size. So it's as easy as that if that's what you want to do. Okay. These, by the way, we can name them as well. So instead of it saying HDMI 1, if, for example, on the shelf here we put a Freeview TV box and plug it into HDMI 1, I can change that label so it says TV. So again, the hotels like this because people walk up to it and go, well, there's the computer, there's the tablet, that's the television, that's the DVD player, and they just press it and it goes to it. So it's really easy for them to set up. I'll show you how to change those sort of at the end for people that are interested in that side of it. Present, we obviously want to present, so you can see there we have a whiteboard. So instead of having one of those, which was invented in 1890, by the way, or a dry erase board, which I've seen around, which was invented in 1950, then you can use this instead. Okay? Although this does cost a bit more, to be fair. Files is looking at your files, as you would expect, so I plug this in, or it has a 16 gig hard drive built into the tablet, so you can store stuff on this tablet locally if you want to. So say you've got a client coming in tomorrow and you've got a PowerPoint presentation, you can put it on the screen, so you can just double tap it and it's ready to go, so you can do that. For the IT people in the room that are frowning at the idea of keeping stuff on here, you can also set this up so it will wipe the hard drive every time it shuts down, because a lot of banks and places don't want anything leaving on from yesterday or the day before, so you can wipe it if you want. Mirror, hopefully you all know what that is, the ability to wirelessly present to the screen. Browser, it's a browser. You know, when people pay for this training, sometimes I'm stood at the front and you can see them all looking at me thinking, you really paid for this? Because it's fairly obvious what most of what I'm showing you is, but it's just the fact they insist on having some training on it. Apps, you've all got a phone, you all know what apps are, and that's a list of apps we put on the screen. Again, for the tech people in the room, you can add any app you want to this. So when you develop your own app for your new platform, you can put that app on the screen, and instead of standing here with a little iPad showing people the new app, you can show it them that big. So you can put any app on there, so yeah. And yes, Angry Birds does work quite nicely. As well. It is Android, yeah. So basically anything off the Google Play Store you can put onto the screen.
Does it go through Google Play?
No, no. The reason we've done that, one, legally you have to get permission from Google, which they won't give it to anybody.
No.
But two, is most companies don't want that, because obviously if you can, you know, you walk in and suddenly your boardroom's a casino or something like that. So yeah. So to do that, and a techie bit, to do that you can sideload APK files in the side, but it also has, occasionally if I say techie bit, anyone who's not, just ignore what I'm saying, it doesn't matter. So in here you have mobile device management, so you can actually remote manage this screen. So if you ended up like the Hilton with them in multiple sites, head office Hilton can use that system to switch this on, switch it off, add apps, remove apps, message it. So you ring them up and you're in Bristol and you go, Chris, it's all gone pear-shaped. I could just switch my laptop in, punch a number in, and I can see your screen live on my laptop. And I can take control of it, add apps, remove apps, do all that sort of stuff. So that MDM is built into the screen as well. Right, the little plus button at the bottom, the stuff that you use all the time, you can personalise that section. So you can press the plus and go, well actually I use Acrobat for PDF all the time, so I'll add that to the front end of the screen. Yeah? So you can you can put as many in as you want. If you fill it, it just has a scroll bar on the side so you can scroll up and down. So it's got your favourites if you like in that section.
Is removing them just as easy?
Yeah.
Fine. Cool.
And it hasn't removed it off the system, it's still
Just removes it off that screen.
in the app section, it's still there, yeah, so it's just a shortcut. This is it, great, keep asking the questions, that's what I like.
Chris, how easy is it to get configured onto the our X drive?
Is your X drive where you keep all your stuff? Yeah. So for the tablet you wouldn't do that. The idea of this system is you have two environments. So if you now wanted to bring up a price list for the Hilton and what they're paying for this, that and the other, you wouldn't generally do it through the tablet. You'd go connect PC, and then that PC, the tech guys can connect this to your network, so this effectively would be a 86-inch desktop PC.
Yes.
We might do half and half. Half of it PC and half of it back on the Android.
And when you say do it, what?
Split.
No, it's one of two environments.
Yeah.
You can copy stuff with Snippet out of the PC onto the Android if you want to. So you can take snapshots and glue them onto the Android. But no. Alright, so this literally is a brand new PC. So you can see we've literally put you a brand new PC in here. So to use the PC now, I've got to go through and configure it and set it all up, which you don't really want to watch me do. But yeah, so it is a brand new Windows 10 PC. So the tech team can literally configure this however you want. So effectively, when you press that button now, you could go to the PC, and if it's connected to your network, this is now the mouse. And you just double tap your file, open your folder, find your price list, bring up Excel, and work on it.
And is that a generic kind of sign-on PC?
Well, that's up to you. That's completely up to your guys as well. So that you could make it so that when you press PC, it says please log in, like when you sit at your desk, and you type your details in, and bingo, that's your desktop.
Yeah.
Or some companies just go, well, because it's a meeting room PC, we just call it meeting room 1, and it's a generic login. So that's, again, up to you guys how you want to set that up.
Probably just have the one, because everyone should be saving to the next drive anyway, not the desktop. So
Yeah.
it teaches good habits as well.
Yeah, well that's why, like I say, when I go to these, especially when I'm dealing with enterprise like Deloitte and KPMG, I don't stand at the front telling them how they should configure their IT setup, I leave them to it. So yeah, but that from your point of view would now just be a Windows PC. So you could start Word, PowerPoint, Excel. Maybe something you want to look at doing as well, if you get yourself a webcam, put it on the top, plug it straight into the PC, then you can use that. So if you put Skype, I don't know if you use Skype or WebEx or GoToMeeting or whatever you use. If you use Skype, you can now bring up Skype, invite 10 other people that aren't in the room, and switch the webcam on, and then you'll sit here at the table, and the other guys will come up on the screen. You can sit and chat, share documents.
Has it got the speaker then?
Yeah, it's got audio all built in.
Cool.
The only thing you need is the mic to be built into the camera. So anything from your sort of 80 quid Logitech webcam upwards will do the job for you.
I think we've had one across the road, haven't we?
I think that was up about £6.99.
It's a Christmas cracker webcam, isn't it?
It served its purpose.
Yes, it is. Right.
Yeah, that one served its purpose.
Okay.
For the one time we used it, I think.
Okay, I'm just going to go back to it. So we'll look at the PC later, but I'll talk to you about that. So let's. I've just given you a brief overview of the front end, but let's look at actually using the thing. So if you're going to use it in this mode, like I said, if you've got a visitor who does bring something like this, you'll see that there are 2 USB ports in this corner, which at the moment have little rubberized things in to stop people using them if you don't want them to. Okay. So I can just plug this in, and that will now find that stick. I say OK, and there is the full contents of my memory stick. Yeah, so it's as simple as that. This is why the hotels like it. Yeah, because now I can go, actually I want to talk to you about the training document, and I can double tap the training document, press start, and that will now open up my file. I'll allow that to do that. And there you go. So for all the spreadsheeters out there, you can see that the size of the screen does help dramatically when you're working on your 400 cell spreadsheet. But again, yeah. So again, I've just pinched that so that I can see the whole spreadsheet. If I want to work on an area, I can just, so it's just the same as using your tablet or your phone. If I want to change something, so I double tap in there, it'll come up with a keyboard automatically. I don't need to look for a keyboard. Hold the little stripes and you can move this where you want, and I can then type that into there, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to mess with that spreadsheet and it's protected, but I won't save it. So that's how easy it is to open it. Now these little triangles you see, that side and this side, basically Saber's giving you any form of remote control for the screen, because you'll lose it, break it, and people will pinch the batteries out. So if you press that, it gives you the control for the screen. So if you're now sat here and thinking, I don't know how I got here, you can go back a step, or you can go home. And that's just like your home button on your iPad, yeah? And that's it. So that will always bring you back to here, no matter where you are, okay? While we're on the subject of here...
So how do you go back to the
Yeah.
How to find it again?
Right.
You press that by mistake, that
Yeah. Basically what you have to do is, if you open up another app, we just developed this front end, literally, which you'll understand, is about 2 weeks old. So what you need is to get these back again, and then if you press that double button, it shows you everything you've got running. So you can see all the things I've got running, yeah? So we actually want that little double button to be on the front screen, because that's a glitch we found literally in the last week, so that's already on there. So shortly in the home button there'll be that double button will be there. So that's one of the things. But what you've basically got to do is just launch something, and then the arrows come back, and you can then do it from there.
How do those release updates get?
Over the air and all free of charge. So as long as this is online, it'll do it for you.
Automatic.
You can either do it, you can set it for automatic, but most people, they just go to the system and say check for updates, and you say yes, and it does the update.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and Ian.
Okay. So that's come back to home. If I go back to files now, that will go back to the memory stick. So you can see files has got the internal storage, the hard drive of the tablet, the memory stick, and also access the cloud drive as well. So you can click on the cloud, log in under your credentials, and bring stuff from your cloud down to the screen as well. Another reason why the hotels like it, is people can rock up to a hotel with no IT, log into their cloud drive, bring a presentation down, present it, and then walk away and log out. You know, and they don't need. So I think it's Plymouth University we've kitted out. Their lecturers don't carry any IT with them, because these are in every room. So they just walk in whatever room they're going to work in, log into their OneDrive, pull down the presentation, present it, walk out and go. They don't need to bring this with them. So things like PowerPoint, you can double tap your PowerPoint and run your PowerPoint presentation. Now you notice when I'm running this might look slightly different than PowerPoint, and the reason is it's using an app called WPS Office. Because legally we can't put the Microsoft apps on in case you don't have a Microsoft license. But the first thing that virtually everybody who buys one of these off me does is put Word, PowerPoint, Excel apps on there, because they're more familiar with it, because WPS, even though they're trying to make it look exactly like, it's not like it. But you can see this WPS literally is that easy. So I've opened the PowerPoint, I tell it I want to play, it says where from, I'll say from the current page, and that's it. So if I point that way, it'll go like that. If I point that way, it'll go backwards. So again, a hotel, somebody's come in to do a PowerPoint presentation, they plug it in, double tap it, PowerPoint comes up, they do that, go through it, do that, go back, and they've finished it. And that's it. So yeah, so I can just do my PowerPoint presentation and tell you what we're doing as a company with my panels and all this sort of stuff.
Chris, if you've got embedded documents in the PowerPoint,
Yeah,
and you go to like, click on it,
yeah.
is it going to open it up, or is it going to look to?
It depends where the document is, same as your PC. So if your document is on the tablet and you've put a shortcut to it, it will find it. But if your document was originally on somewhere else, then no, it won't find it. What you basically got to think in this mode is that you're using one of these, not your laptop. That's all you got to get clear in your head. Which environment am I in? Am I on my desktop that gives me access to everything and the X drive and so on, or am I just using this? And at the moment we're just using this. So what you'll probably find most of you will do most of the time is use the PC mode. Because why wouldn't you? You know, all your stuff's there, your X drive, your Windows, your stuff you use every day, whereas this is kind of new to you, if you like. So this is the idea of the system, is you've got two choices. What do I want to do today? Do I just want to walk up and do a whiteboard, or do I actually want to go into my X drive? Yeah. But for me, this is a visitor area. This is more used by people who don't work here, because you'll use a PC. Yeah? But I thought I'd show you this first, because this really is what the hotels are interested in, because people can do all of this without any IT. It just sits on guest Wi-Fi. Yeah. So again, I'm going to use my little buttons, and I'm going to go home again to come back to the screen. I'm going to go files again to look at the stick. Probably one of the most common usage of this is PDF. We sell thousands of these into construction, because they put a little version of this in a porter cabin. You're all subcontractors. I work for Kia, but you don't. So I don't want you on my network, but I want you to come up and look at the drawing and mark it up and put your comments in. So I can open up this PDF at the screen straight off my memory stick. So I'm the architect, and I've walked in and I've gone, take a look at this, and there's your full PDF of the building. These screens are 4K UHD resolution. So in English, anybody who's got Sky Q, this is equivalent to Sky Q, even though there's not much 4K content out there. So it's a very high resolution screen, which means whatever IT people bring in the room, this screen will be higher resolution than their IT. So you don't need to mess around with all that toggling and working out what the screen will just do it automatically. But what it means for you is, if this is the hotel floor plan of Hanbury Manor, and I want to discuss different spaces in it, I can zoom in, and because it's a 4K panel, it will automatically re-render the screen so it doesn't look like Crime Watch. Yeah? So now I can touch the top of the screen, the app is there. The features of this are purely dependent on the app. So this is Adobe, this is nothing to do with Clevertouch. So I press all these buttons now and say, yes, I want to write on it. It will then give me that facility to write on it and do all that sort of stuff off the app. So I can then pick the colour I want to work in, and I can come onto here and say, so this space here, we're going to do this, that space, this is going to be there, that'll be the fire exit. And then I can ask the subcontractor who's doing the air conditioning to come up and mark up all the spots, and we can do it all as a team. And I can then save it. So I press the tick, that will glue it to the PDF. It'll ask me to name it, I'll skip that for now, so you know Chris has made these changes. And then I could just pull that out and walk away with it. So, you know, it's a really agile way of people working without having to boot up PCs, go to network drives. They just walk up with content, mark it up, discuss it and walk away. Or, depending on the app, if you belong to the Acrobat Cloud guys, you can save that into Acrobat's Cloud if you've got an Acrobat Cloud and that sort of thing. But again, if you imagine now you're bringing a client in here and you're talking about what you can do for them for their exhibition or whatever's going on, the fact that you can bring up the drawing of their building, walk them through it, mark up where all the people are going to be and stuff, gives a very different perception of you as a business than when you roll out some paper and blue tack it on the wall and start scribbling with a biro. You know, so it's that sort of perception. Just to show you, this can run virtually any file type as well. I'm going to show you video. So we found some video. This is a 4K video as well. It gives you a list of apps that are capable of running this video. As a rule, just pick the top one it recommends. That's just the easiest way of doing it. And this will now play the video. So this is a 1 gigabyte 4K film. This is a very, very big file, and it's just running that straight off that memory stick. It's not using anything else, it's just playing it straight off. As you can hear, the audio is built in. So it's got enough audio for a room of about 35 people. Audio, flick up from the bottom of the screen, your audio is there. So you can see it's got plenty of audio on it. That's halfway. Also, if you say someone's been stood in front of this all day and it's a bit bright and getting on the nerves, you've got the brightness of the screen, so you can dim the screen up and down from there as well. So that's your audio level. When you do stuff like video, you've got full control, so you can fast forward, rewind, pause it, do whatever you want. And then the beauty of it is that if you pause or bring up anything on the screen, we've always got these available again. Sorry, I'll stand this side because you're around the corner. So from here, you can now pick the pen.
Video light's coming.
Yeah.
So from here, I've now got 5 different coloured pens I can choose from there. I can either use my fingers to put the fence on for health and safety. And I can also look out for the trip hazard over there. I'll have to cut that off. And over here, clearly that's a spill, so we'll have to drain that out as well. Yeah. So you can write over the top of anything on the screen. So you've now done this as the trainer and you've pointed out all the issues and so on the screen. You now want that. Have a guess which button you press. So, now there are people in here that won't remember a floppy disk because they've not been used since about 1980. But people still see that as a save button. So if I press that, it's like pressing save as. So you can choose where you want to save it. Internal storage, take it on the memory stick, for example. But as life has moved on, we've got better ways of doing this. So we've got QR code. So if I press the QR code, it will come up with a QR code on the screen. Save this as PDF, and now all of you can get your phone out with a QR code scanner on it, which is fairly standard now because you see posters in airports that you can do that and it tells you all about it. Point your phone at that and it'll say this is a PDF onto your device and you can take it with you. So if you're doing training sessions and you've got 18 pages of whiteboard notes, you just walk up with your phone, scan it, and you've now got the 18 pages on your device and you can take it with you. The rule of that is though that your device has to be on the same network as the screen to do that, because it creates a link to the screen and you have to say yes I want it and download it. But you know, that for training is great because you now
doesn't save it with that.
Yeah, so you will no, that won't be on it. It'll save the picture and the ink. Yeah, you don't want this in your way, so yeah, that won't save that. Good question. And also cloud button, yeah. So if you press that, you can now log into your G-Cloud or your OneDrive and save it to there if you want to. So those are your save options. You can also rub out with the back of your hand, by the way, if you want, because it knows that this is bigger than the pen or your finger, so you can rub out with that. Also in here, you've got the scissors, which is snip it. Yeah, we're not trying to confuse you here, we're trying to make it so you can use it. So I can capture the whole screen, or I can move to the bit of the screen that I want. So say you're reviewing your website and you've got a bit you're not happy with, you can draw around it and grab that bit.
Can you change the area to circle or to be freehand or?
Not at the moment,
Okay.
but that is an update that's coming soon. So soon you'll be able to freehand draw. Yeah, no. By the way, stuff like that's brilliant. If you come up with stuff and you go, actually Chris, in our environment, if it could do this, this and this, it'd be great, let me know, because my job is to develop this. So I'm always interested in things it can't do. Because I don't work in every vertical, I don't know what everybody does. So I can't think of everything you use it for. So if you come up with something, let me know. And that's the joy of us owning it. We design all of this, so we can add features and stuff like that. So I've selected the bit I want, and I'm not going to save it. I'm going to stick it on my flip chart symbol. So I'll press that, and it'll stick it on my whiteboard. So I've now got that on my whiteboard, and this is my whiteboard. Yeah. So what I can now do is I can pick up the pen and I can now start saying, so on our website, that logo should have been in blue, we'll say, should be in blue, and this bit over here needs to be changed, and I can just scribble all over that. So there's no need for that wonky leg flip chart over there, because this can do that for you. So the nice thing about this as well is this may be a very big screen, because this is an 86-inch screen, but it's not a big whiteboard. People have, 4 meters of whiteboard in rooms. So if you have it so that the little blue hand is showing in the bottom corner, that gives you the ability to draw and move. So I can do this. Oops, sorry. Try again. Or is it that one? Oh, sorry. When you've got the 2 pens in the bottom corner, then you can do that and this at the same time. The wrong way around. So what you actually have, which is quite worrying if there's any marketing people in the room, is an unbound space, so they can just go on and on and on. Which our marketing team do. So effectively you have unbound space in any direction, you can just keep going. But actually with you designing the website you're doing, it's very useful, because you can kind of go, look, someone presses that button, that takes us down here, which then if you go to that button, so you can do process maps and stuff like that on it. If you press any of the icons twice, you get the options. So there's all your different colours you can choose from. Also, you can choose the thickness as well. So if I want to thicken this up and put that in there, I can do that. And also change the colours. You notice there's 2 ticks. So the reason that didn't change is because that's pen 2. So that'll be the red one. Yeah, so you've got red and black now in that thickness. Also things like the paintbrush gives you a calligraphic effect. I always use it even when I'm writing, because I just think it looks nicer, because you get a swish on the end of it. Well, that's just me. Yeah. So you notice with the pens very subtly that has a silver ring around it and that has a black ring around it, and that's why it knows the difference. So just saying that.
And is 2 the most pens you can have?
We can do more, but the reason we didn't was because, this is a massive screen, this is the biggest one we do. And if I stand here, I take up almost half of it, and I'm not particularly big. So the issue we found was when we did it 4, people are kind of elbowing each other out the way.
One in each hand.
We don't have many remotes. So again, the buttons at the bottom have been kept as simple as possible. So if you want to rub out, you can either use the back of your hand or press the eraser. So if you want to do something a little bit more subtle, you can surround a bit you want to get rid of. So that's the eraser. The brush will sweep it clean. So if you want to just quickly wipe the screen, you now see a look of horror on someone's face. Yeah, so as you can see, there is 8 steps backwards and forwards, so you can undo and redo in there as well. If you want to do a better job than I've done, you can pick things like shapes up. So you've got 3D and 2D shapes. So I can pick the pen up now, pick that in red, and it'll do it still in black because that's the black pen. But that'll do it in red, I think. Yeah. Okay. So you can put shapes on the screen as well, so little arrows and stuff like that. If you want to join that process together and things like that. So just remember, whichever one of these is in blue is what these or these will turn into. Yeah. Because if you now go, actually, I want to move that. You can do that with finger, but the pen will continue to be an arrow until you tell it to go back to being a pen.
Right.
Yeah. So whichever block is in blue is what these will do.
And can you save all that? So you've done this amazing flowchart, you then save it and...
Exactly.
So if you saved it and, I don't know, took it back for your laptop or your PC and you wanted to work on it...
Yeah. So you can then, it's good, you can choose what you want it to be. So you can have it as photograph, PDF, SVG if you use Illustrator and programs like that. IWB is us, Interactive Whiteboard. So if you want to come back to this next week and carry on with this and do more and more, if you keep it in IWB, you can reopen it on the screen and keep
Is
it.
that a little bit like Word or... So if we record Word, is that where that position?
No, no. IWB is a format you'll never see on anything else apart from interactive whiteboard. Your PDF, for example, that'd be one where you could open it on your laptop, because most people have a PDF viewer of some form, and it'd open the pages in PDF and you could carry on.
If it's like a really long one, you worked on it for ages and it's really long, then
Yeah.
it will say...
It'll put it in a single PDF.
Oh, right.
So it'll bring it down, So that's why over here you've got the plus button. So if you're thinking I'm going to print these out and I want them on separate pages, if you press the plus, you're now on page 2.
Right.
So we're now on page 2, and then plus again, page 3, and then if you want to see them, if you press the numbers, it will show you them just like PowerPoint. Now, so we don't get carried away in this, if you were doing a full flowchart, you'd use Visio, or a program that creates flowcharts. If you're going to make a presentation and embed video in it, use PowerPoint. This is a flip chart. It's supposed to replace that thing on your chipboard on the wall. That's why it hasn't got file, edit, view, layer control, grouping, any of that, because we thought if we do that, you'll scare people to death who just want to walk up and do a whiteboard and save it and send it.
It's basically a flip chart that you can almost photograph.
Yes, exactly.
Or you're taking the paper away with
Yeah, so the joy for IT is instead of you taking bad photos on your phone, and if you leave your phone on the bus, it's just told everybody all the stores in Britain you're shutting. It's now on here, so when you want to get it off here, you can email it straight off the board back to your PC and issue it out. Okay? So there's a number of ways. You can email it, you can again select your cloud drive, log into you and put it in the cloud, or you can hit save and save it to the stick and take it with you. So there's 3 ways you can get it off the screen if you want to.
Do you do it in PC mode?
Yeah, so we do have this software available for the PC as well. So if you want a whiteboard in the PC, we can put a whiteboard on the PC as well. But the reason we don't really advertise that much is most people use Office, and as part of Office you get OneNote. And OneNote basically is a big whiteboard, because you can use the Microsoft thing and just write directly into OneNote. So yeah. Okay, so that is your whiteboard. Okay, so again I'm going to go home. So this is what I like about the system, we can do as much or as little as we want. So if you just want to come in here in the morning and say, right, what are we doing as a team? You can just press whiteboard, write what we're doing up as a team and email it to your desk and walk away. You don't need to know anything about the system or any other buttons and software and scary stuff that you don't want to get involved in. You just go, I just want the whiteboard, bang, whiteboard, write on it, email, type in my email, gone. And this is what makes these so successful, is the fact that people can just pick the bit they want to do. So the construction guys just do that PDF markup I showed you earlier. So I've got 19 of these across the country in multiplex porter cabins. This can do hundreds of things, and all they do is plug a memory stick in with a drawing, write on it and then walk away. And that's all they use it for. Do I care that's all they use it for? No, as long as they keep buying them. They can do that as much as they like. But that's the key to the system. A lot of the other systems, you've got to learn a full package of software before you can use it. But what will happen is you'll keep doing things like that, and human nature will make you start going, actually, I've sussed that. What's this do? And you gradually pick it up. And that's the idea of the system.
I laugh then because I broke it. What do I do then?
Just on the breakage side, it's 4 mil toughened glass as well, because these do go on building sites. And that's the hotels like this, obviously. It's going on a trolley, it's being wheeled around the hotel, into a lift, out of a lift, downstairs. So it is toughened glass. It's also laser etched matte glass as well. So we haven't had to, well, the blinds are down, but we could open the blinds in here, you can have all the lights on, you can see it's not really affecting the screen. So the hotel's like that as well.
Does the whiteboard have the ability to convert handwriting into typed font?
It doesn't, no, because again we were trying to keep it simple, but we do have a piece of software called Lynx software, which you can add to the system, that does have the ability to do handwriting recognition and shape recognition. So if you draw a rough circle, it'll turn it into a circle. So that's Lynx software. So we can add that if you like, but obviously for you to learn how to use Link software is like me training you how to use Word if you've not used Word before. So it'll take you, you know, a while before you
I
can.
can see some of these guys'
Chris, if you were, I was going to say,
Go on.
Sorry.
It'll come back in a minute. It'll come back. So far we've used the whiteboard, we've used different file types. I'm now going to use the browser. So this will be dependent on internet connection in the room. So you can see this is now your new system. Or for now, I can just go, actually, I just want to go to the BBC, and that'll take me to the BBC website. So you've got a fully functional browser. But again, the joy of this, I shouldn't do this because everyone starts reading it, I have to do that. But if there is an area I'm interested in, I could draw on it. So I could draw all over it and save it with the ink on. But what I generally do is I use Snippet when I'm discussing our website with our designers, and I'll pick out the bit they've done wrong, and then I'll press the whiteboard button, it'll glue it on my whiteboard, and then I'll put it up here, I'll write all around it, make the comments on it, and then email it to them. So those are the changes I need made.
Well,
Yeah.
email,
Yeah.
whose email box is it coming from?
Again, it depends how the email's been set up. So I don't know if this has been set up. No, not yet. So effectively, you can set an email up the same as you do for any email address. So you can either create this so it's meeting room 1, so when it arrives it says this is from meeting room 1, or you know, you can configure it so it's actually part of your Outlook. So when you type in C for Chris, it comes up with all the C's in the company. So it depends how you want to set it up IT-wise. I'll leave that to you guys to decide what you want to do with that. Because, I mean, in here you'll be fine, but some of the big companies insist on it going to Outlook because they don't want a generic email. Because, you know, if I send one saying that I don't like you, and it comes from the meeting room, it's come from the meeting room. So it depends how you want to set it up. Good, that's it, keep them coming. So just to show you, finish off the bar, we can go back a step, we can go home. You've seen the pen, the magnifying glass just lets you zoom in, which personally I never use because I just do that. I don't see the point. I lost the argument on that in the design meeting, but I want to put it in myself. So that is active. This should, so far today I haven't closed anything I've been using. I've just been flicking between them. So the nice thing about this is for a presenter is if you've got a PDF, a PowerPoint, a Word, an Excel to show people in the meeting that's coming up, you can have them all running. And you can go, actually, I just want to go back to the spreadsheet, and it'll bring it to the front. So you can flick between them just using that double button there. Or if I actually go, you know what, I'm not going to use that media player anymore, or files, you can flick them, or you can just hit the cross and get rid of them. So, you know, just do that if I want to close any of these down. Yeah. But what you'll also see is you also have a double button. Yeah. So if I want the whiteboard, but also I want my website, I can put them side by side. So that way I can be discussing the website here and working away on it. And then when I see something I'm not happy with, I can pick up the scissors, take that bit there, and press flip chart, and it'll glue it on there. So now I can write around that and ask them to change this and that and so on and so forth. Yeah. So you can have two apps running side by side if you want. So you can have your website and your app at the same time.
We discussed, Chris, about having 4 at one stage. How
Yeah.
did that work?
Not for the apps,
No.
but the wireless presentation you can.
Yeah.
So I can present 4 devices to the screen at the same time, which we'll come on to in a sec. The bar in the middle also, if you want to just make that full screen, you can do it that way. Okay. Okay. So we've done whiteboard, files, browser, apps speak for themselves. You're all familiar with apps on your phone, so these are all apps we put on there that are useful to you. Probably the most useful one is the Getting Started guide. So if I'm not here, you can press Getting Started. It runs off a website. You can pick the language you want. Could make it more difficult for yourself if you fancy. We are using a Pro series, so it's everything under this section. So if you just say getting started on the Pro, then it'll give you all your frequently asked questions and things like that in there. So it'd be a bit ironic if we gave you a big paper manual for one of these. So it's all on the screen, so that's in there as well. And as I've mentioned to the team, you can add and remove apps. So if you want to put Google Earth on here or your own app, we can add those. For a single screen, you can sideload what's called an APK file, techie thing, but you just tap it twice and it'll install it. Or if you've got lots of screens, you can use this and issue it out to all of your screens on the system. So that's that. So those are your apps. Plus, I've explained for that. And also, where is it? This little button in the middle here, I would avoid unless you know exactly what you're doing, because this is the setup of the screen. So for the people in the room cringing now, you can hit security and put a passcode on this so this all greys out and people can't mess with it. Okay? But if you look at this, anyone who's got an Android phone, this should look just like your phone, and that's how we designed it so people feel comfortable. But there are things in here that are very useful, like input settings. So when I flicked up the screen and pressed connect, it had HDMI 1, HDMI 2 and VGA. So if you know what they're connected to, you can click on there and type in there. So if HDMI 1 is connected to the TV, you type TV, and then when you press connect, it'll say TV. So I'll do that just to confuse people. So I put TV in there now, and then I come home. You'll see in the connect box now it says TV instead of HDMI 1. So it's as simple as that, really, to set up that sort of thing in there. And also in your settings, you have things like what Wi-Fi it's connected to. So again, just like your phone, you look at all the Wi-Fi's, pick the one you want, type the passcode in, and it'll connect to that connection. Okay. So that's that. And also down here you have things like start up and shut down. So you can tell the screen what time to come on in the morning, what time to go off at night, what days of the week, and it'll do it all automatically, so you don't have to worry about it being left on and things like that. You can tell it what you want it to boot up to in the morning. So if you want it to go into the PC first thing in the morning, it will do. Or if you want it to boot up into the Lux tablet or whatever's on HDMI 1, because a lot of companies have it on a Freeview box on BBC News. So when people walk in the morning, this has got the news running on it until 9 o'clock, and then you start using it. So that's a thing on there as well. So that would now boot up into the PC. Techie bit, these boxes here, if you tick all of those boxes, it will wipe the hard drive of the tablet when it shuts down. So if you don't want anything left on this from the day before, but just make people aware of that if you do decide to do that. Okay. Getting close to the end now, so don't worry if your head's about to explode. This one, clever message. Yeah. Hotels love this. This is one of their favourite things. Yeah. So what this is digital signage. You know when you walk in a hotel and there's a screen rolling telling you about the spa and what's going on in the gym and all this sort of stuff. You can turn this screen into a signage screen, which is very nice for you with what you do, because you can set the screen up so that when your client walks in, it's got a photograph of their hotel on it, it's got a video running of their latest stuff and all your information, ticker tape, Twitter feed, whatever you want. So this is a signage account. Now again, this is for the text to set up, but effectively with your clever message, that code there you need. Okay? And effectively what you'll do is you go to sedeolive.com, this is not all of you, this is whoever sets this up, and you'll get a free account, and you'll open an account, and once you've opened the account, it'll give you a list of any screens you own, which will be none, it'll just be empty. So you press add a screen, punch that number in, and this screen will now belong to your account. So you can control it through the Sedeo site. That's something I'll do separately with you. I'll actually get our Sedeo team to, whoever's setting this up, I'll get them to do your remote demo to your PC, your laptop or whatever, and they'll talk you through it. So we'll do that separately. But yeah, so effectively, again, the joy of this for hotel now is this isn't rented out today for some reason. Yeah, they haven't hired it to anyone, so you've now got thousands of pounds worth of stuff sat there doing nothing in a cupboard. So what they can do is they can sit it in reception, and this can now play out, ticker tape, information about the spa, the hotel, whilst it's stood there. So they can utilise it all the time rather than just when it's being hired. And if it's doing that in a room and somebody walks up to it, they can just, when the signage is running, they'll just touch the screen and it'll start their session. So that's what Clever Message is. But I think it's something you could really utilise here. Now, lastly, really, from a screen point of view, we've designed this so it's clean and crisp and so on, yeah, but it's a bit boring, yeah. So the background you can turn into whatever you want, and the logo you can delete it or you can type in there whatever you want. So as an example, if I go to Files and I go into my USB stick and I find my nice 4K photographs, yeah. And I say, I like my Jaguar, wish it was mine, my Jaguar on the screen instead of a black background. I can tap the top corner and in there, doing it, does it not like that photo? If in doubt, always go home, yeah, and then go back to where you were and find out why it doesn't like that photo and try a different one. Probably my dodgy memory stick. It's not liking this, it's got a question mark down there. It doesn't like my memory stick. Let's try it one more time. It was all going so well. I did this for Sainsbury's, by the way. I haven't got a strawberry fetish. It's not letting me use that. It doesn't like that. So what you should be able to do, try the classic unplug and replug, is any picture that you find, you should be able to press in the top corner those 3 dots and tell it to save it as the background. Just try it one more time. Yeah, that's right, that's the file, so I don't want to know about it. I tell you what, let's just shut that down. I just opened it in Photos, that's why, sorry. Right, because this is a brand new screen front end, it's opened it in an app called Photos, which I don't want it to do. I want to open it in, they changed it to Photos now, is Gallery not on there anymore? That could be interesting. There was an app on here called Gallery at one point, which I can't see on there anymore. That could be one for my development team. Photos. Sorry, I'm just talking to myself here at this point. So basically what there was until 2 weeks ago, because when this was released, was there's an app in here called Gallery, which we might have to get them to put back on. And the Gallery lets you open the picture and press and save as desktop. So rather than do it that way, I'll show you the other way, which is if you hold your finger still for 3 seconds and press wallpaper, you can pick one of the pre-installed ones. So you can choose which one of these you want to be your wallpaper. But obviously from a marketing point of view, you can use your own pictures, which I'll speak to our office about to see how you do that now that they've changed that. So I just press set as wallpaper, and that's now my wallpaper. So
there's an update. Does it show on that
yeah.
settings?
So when so if you go into your settings, and then at the bottom you will see system. And in there you've got check for update.
Oh, I see.
So you can just press it and it'll tell you there won't be, because this is the very latest one we've done.
And would I also get maybe an email telling me there's an update
Nope.
or nothing at all?
No.
Okay.
Again, we looked at that, but so many of the companies we deal with wouldn't allow us to do that. They don't want a remote email coming from someone that they're not approved, if you like. So we couldn't do that. So we all went, yeah, we'll just ping you an email. No. Yeah, people like HSBC kind of go, no, you're not pinging anybody a junk email, as they class it. So we can't do that. So that's why we don't. Okay, so that is what the tablet can do. The last bit, which we'll have to sort out for the next session, because you don't want to watch me set up a PC, is this bit really is where the penny would drop with a lot of you as the usage of this, because this would now be a Windows 10 PC, and the joy of Windows 10 is the whole of Microsoft Office and Adobe and everybody else have built-in inking tools, because people use styluses and stuff on these sort of devices. So if I brought up Excel now, you'll see in the top corner there'll be a little pen. If you press it, a little toolbar comes down with all your colours, highlighters and everything in, and you can now select those, draw all over Excel, highlight it, say that's incorrect, that's not right, that's not wrong. And the beauty of it is, it's saving it in the native file format. So when you email it to me, I open Excel and see your drawing all over it, and I can just click on it and delete it. So if you sent it to me saying, Chris, can you make these changes? I can just go, yeah, make the changes, click on the ink, delete it and send it back to you. So you can do that in Word, PowerPoint, Excel, OneNote and website as well. So you can actually draw over your website in PC mode. Lastly, because I'm aware of time, we have the ability to wirelessly present to the screen, but I'm going to have to chat to IT about this because you've obviously got some ports blocked on your Wi-Fi or whatever this is connected to that won't let me do it at the moment. So effectively, if I just go back to the mirror button and explain how it works. So in here we just go mirror, and then it comes up and says your device needs to be on that Wi-Fi, and then you need to punch that number into the app. The app, by the way, is called Clevershare 2. So if you go on any app store, Android, Apple, if you go to our website for a laptop, you can download it. If you have this little icon in amongst your apps, which not everybody will see.
I have it on my iPad.
Yeah, so I've got it on here, so it's like a little blue box with two mirrored images on it. You would now press that, it would come up and say you are on Trinity Guest. So, oh, that's why. I'm on Guest and that's on Wi-Fi.
Well, no, I can put it
Are
in.
you on? Yeah, if you were on Trinity, see if it works on that. So basically the rule is, which has caught me out, so it tells you that Jackie's now connected and now she can show us photographs. I'll let you do that bit, Jackie. I'd made that mistake once in the younger days of using someone's device and then saying, look, you can do this. And I was like, oh dear. And then what that'll do is it'll allow you, it brings up a little desktop and it says photographs, mouse, mirror.
So I've got that on my iPad now.
Have you got the app on there, yeah?
Yeah, I've got that screen on here.
Okay.
I want to change it into.
That's me. Yeah. So the button that Jackie has pressed is the one that says desktop. So what she's got now by pressing the desktop button in the app is this will now follow whatever I do. Yeah?
Right, you want it the other way round.
Yeah. So I hit the close button at the top, and this is the desktop that you'll get. It's designed in portrait. So on here you can see there's little blue icons effectively. So with the blue icons, I'll be very careful, Jackie, you're not damaging this. So if I press photos now, it will give me all Jackie's photos, and I can press one and it will come up on the screen. So I'm not going to do that. Desktop does exactly what you saw. So you're sat right at the back of the room, you can't see the bottom of the presentation, so you press desktop and you can now watch PowerPoint on your device. But that's only one device at a time though. So just so you know, because if you try and do it as well, again, someone's already using it at the moment, but we are working on it being multi. We're getting there.
If the number keeps changing, you know,
Yeah.
If you're logged in, you're not going to be logged out.
So the number is here, and also you can view the main interface, which is this. And on here, under your settings, you can tell it how often you want it to refresh the code. So you can make it every half hour, for example.
That's probably better.
Yeah, we did look at longer, but then again, all the banks went, we're not happy with that, you know, because if somebody leaves the room and it's on for an hour, that's too risky. So that will now change that every 30 minutes for a security purpose. Also, another one for security is the ability to minimize. And what this will do is, in here, you can tell it to minimize again, and it just makes it into a bubble. So if you're in a glass meeting room, no one can see what the code is for the screen. You have to walk up and press it, and then you can see what the number is. So now, if all of you are on Trinity Wi-Fi and you all get your devices out, laptops, iPads, whatever, and you punch that number and you will get that, and 4 of you can now present, and it will split the screen into 4. So you could have 4 laptops, 2 iPads, 2 phones, whatever you want at the screen. Yeah. Also, as well as photos, this has the ability to use this as a mouse as well. So you can see I can control the screen with this instead of one of those annoying clickers or whatever they want. People can now run the screen from here. So say you're doing PowerPoint and you're a wandering presenter and you've got your phone, you can connect it to the screen, wander around, chat to you, and flip with your thumb, and it'll flip the PowerPoint slides as you walk around the room. So it does that for you as well. It also has the ability to use the camera. I'll allow that. So if I press record now, yeah. And also if I rotate this, it will rotate. I won't point it at anybody, I know people don't like being on camera. But this is quite useful for things like this. I'm a trainer and I want everybody to know what the Wi-Fi code is. So I just press the record button on here, it will freeze it. So now I've got that on the screen, I can draw and annotate, work on that, do whatever I want with it. So if you quickly want to get a document off the table and you don't want to wait 15 minutes while someone finds it and emails it to you, if you've got it on paper, put the camera over it, press it, and it'll put it up on the screen. So that's included in the app as well. And lastly is photos, which I'll let Jackie do. Pass them back to Jackie.
Okay, I'll look and see.
So for example, you've been out on site, you've seen something that's an issue, take the photo, you come back, talk to the team. So at this point, I can now I can grab that, I can cut a section out, glue it on the whiteboard, draw on it. So I'm not going to. I know it. I can see what's going through your head, and that's not going to happen. But you can see how agile it is, yeah. So people can just sit in the room and go, "Oh, we've not seen the latest email. Let me show you that." And you press the number, and up comes your screen with the email on to discuss with the team. So you can quickly flip devices between us to the screen, or even have 4 on at once. So if you wanted 4 devices on, you could have them all on the screen and compare and contrast, and go like, "Let's look where we're up to." And 4 screens will come up and you can go there, you're there, you're there, you're there, and that sort of thing. But for a hotel, they just say, look, if you're going to come to our hotel, download this app. So when you confirm your booking, they'll put on download this app so that everybody arrives at the hotel with that app. This is on guest Wi-Fi. They log into the guest Wi-Fi when they walk in the hotel, and now any room they walk into, they can punch that number in and wirelessly present to the screen without pulling a tree of cables from under the floor and treading on and that sort of thing. So that's the Mirror app on there. Last thing I promised and I'm done. The last one, my laptop's probably gone to sleep, is this. So you can get to the screen with a memory stick, you can get to the screen through the cloud, you can wirelessly present through the app, and you can plug that into your laptop and press the button and it'll push your laptop up to the screen. The only advantage of this over the app is this will push touch as well. So not only will my laptop appear on the screen, I can drive my laptop from the screen with this.
We found that we've been using that, it's been cutting out the...
Yeah. Now, it was designed in a certain way which people love or hate. So effectively, when you plug this in and you press it, it connects that to that, but to do that, it disconnects you off your Wi-Fi. So effectively, if you want to use this to present, you need to have the stuff already on your machine before you present. Because the reason we did that was, if we made it so it still uses your Wi-Fi, it basically ran dog slow and didn't work very well. So we make it so it connects directly to the screen. So when you play video, if anybody's used a wireless presentation button with video before, it's pretty awful. It all freeze frames and robots. This will do it quite nicely. It'll drop an odd frame, but it'll run video off your laptop straight to the screen. From a hotel point of view, they don't use that much, because when visitors come and plug this in, it runs software on itself, but that can quite often pop up the, you need admin rights message. So most of the hotels just go with the wireless app and the ability to plug in the side or bring a memory stick or cloud drive. We'll give you 4 ways of doing it. If you don't want to use that, fine. From a tech point of view though, if you did want to stop that, you can actually connect the tablet to your hardwired network and then make it use that instead of the hotspot. So you could actually make that internally for you guys work, that you just plug it in and it doesn't drop you off. But you'd have to hardwire the system rather than Wi-Fi, which for most companies we don't recommend. So that is what this system can do. Now I'm not suggesting, having spent 45 minutes with me, that you can now all do that. I'd be very impressed. But at least you can see what the thing's capable of. And I think what would be good is if we get the PC set up, I think that for most people in the room would be what you'd use regularly in here, because it's kind of, well, there's my desktop, so I don't need any training, but I've got the lovely feature of I can now tap it as a mouse and draw into it. Also with the PC you can put in a wireless mouse and keyboard, yeah? So we know in a lot of, you know what these C-level people are like, they don't want to stand at the front. A lot of boardroom meetings people don't want to stand up. So you can plug a keyboard and mouse in that's wireless and just run it from the table if you want to as well.
I've got a question about that as well, but it might be for after that.
Yeah. So is that enough for today?
Yeah.
Yeah, but hopefully you can see it's a fair bit of kit. It can do a lot of stuff, and hopefully with your clients and customers you can kind of wow them a little bit with it and get using it.